fitting the expectation, I think. Yeah, huge crowd today. Yeah. Good to see you, though, John. Alright, Napoleon Hill. First, therefore, I demand myself citizens continue action towards the payment, and I hear now offer friends such action. Second, I realize that I'll reach out to my mind and execute themselves and how to action, and gradually transform themselves into the reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking the person I intend to become, thereby creating my mind and thinking the future that person. Third, I will do the ritual law of action, and it is not that existing over my mind will eventually be corrected immaculate. Therefore, I will 10 minutes daily marry myself and develop self-confidence. Therefore, I have clearly written down the dreams of my destiny in life, and I will never stop trying until I shall develop this self-confidence for education. Fifth, I fully realize that no lawful suggestions along the door, unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction without the dollar effects. I will succeed by trusting myself towards selfish views and the cooperation of other people. I will do others serve me because my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, self-criticism by developing love for all humanity because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe me, to help out with them, and in myself. I will sign my name formula, commit to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day with full faith to evaluate and influence my thoughts and actions so I become a self-reliant person. Hurrah! 12 steps. Let's say 12 steps forward with a minute standard which, with all the action in a positive environment, guarantees 24+ transaction annually and unprecedented personal growth achievement. 1. I dedicate 1 hour daily towards building and protecting my self-confidence. 2. I practice external myself for a minimum 1 hour a day. 3. I contact my creative influence by mail, by phone, and in person, and by email quarterly. 4. I make 150+ contacts per week, 30+ per day, by phone or in person. 5. I follow the model of quality dating. 6. I accept my pleasant appointments for required sellers. 7. I completed 3 qualified 100% of my appointments. 8. I have an appointment attended with a state growth of 50% greater. 9. I call all relatives and problems every 3 weeks whenever my mind ends. 10. I sell 75% more of my inventory. 11. I return every side call and contact every buyer leaving 2 hours inquiries. 12. I work with highly qualified buyers with 3 qualified mortgage lenders and sign a buyer broker agreement. Furthermore, conditions of that sign with less energy spent. I recognize self-confidence actions with predictable outcomes. Therefore, I commit to following every step of the goal set of success. Tony Robbins, now I'm the voice. Now I'm the voice. I will lead, not follow. I will lead, not follow. I will lead, not doubt. I will lead, not doubt. I will create, not destroy. I will create, not destroy. I am a force for good. I am a force for good. Defy the odds. Defy the odds. Set the standard. Set the standard. Step up. Step up. Step up. Step up. Step up. Step up. Opening affirmations. I will profess myself first to get on the road. I maintain myself by my goals. I practice my living right. I focus on small wins every day. Real estate transactions are abundant in the market. My ability to make succeed. I get stronger with every step. I'm the master of every situation. My confidence is shaken because of integrity. I will tackle those thoughts. I take excellent care of my body. I start the day with abundance of energy. I am task-oriented. I set clear priorities daily. I know what I want and I get it. I attract and enjoy greater financial abundance each day. My gratitude gives me infinite financial success. I think prosperous thoughts. I am prosperous. I have my money minded and I profit every day. Next action is easy for me. I have needs are each day. I enjoy being debt free. I exercise daily. I enjoy all my money needs. I help food. I'm a real estate expert. I have my expecting to be a real estate expert. I'm a professional. I'm financially independent. I ambitious to be helping others. I have solutions. Prospecting is good for my business. I call inspired from several owners. Prospecting is easy for me. I enjoy following my natural life. People are attracted by my enthusiasm. I can make all things succeed. I get mentally strong with all quality. I'm an outstanding salesperson. I'm a powerful agent. I know how to achieve. I keep positive. This is so funny. The Twisted Sister. It's true. You know who Twisted Sister was? Really? Exactly. What? No, I know. Of course not. I don't know. I guess that age is. Really? My favorite band. They're awesome. Justin, you didn't know? Oh, first album I ever. Oh, okay. Something like how you admired on the same album. Facial. No, they're one of my other favorites. Back then.
How's everyone doing today?
Really good.
Did anyone enjoy Summit last night?
Woo! That was good. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah?
I've seen better.
You've seen better? I thought they were both on good yesterday.
I'm a champion.
I am a champion.
So, quick announcements. Obviously, you've got UPW coming up. Summit's over. We got our listing contest going on. Who's participating in that?
Yes, Leslie.
So one out of this whole group is participating. Looks like you're going to win, Leslie.
I'm participating. I just got to go find the list.
Okay. I'm going to send out the sheet again today. Everyone keeps saying I don't get it, but
I didn't get it.
yeah, I don't get it. Yep.
I didn't get it, but my account wasn't set up yet.
So there's probably the only excuse that actually works. But I'm going to send it out again, and if you don't get it, you can always email me and ask for it. So, and then today we have, I'm going to teach a class on tools and techniques to enhance your listing presentation. So last week we went over the listing presentation. This week we're going to go over a couple things you can add to your presentation, and that's going to be from 1 to 2. So if you want to join me for that, that'd be great.
It's 1 to 2, right?
1 to 2. So it's just an hour on that, and then we're going to do some classes all week, all month on Fridays to help you with your listing presentation. It's all about taking more listings. Okay? Any questions? All right.
I would be curious, just like we always do, just like some of the takeaways from Summit, just curious as to what those takeaways, I mean, that's the question I'd ask the first thing, so just kind of curious, aside from just, great.
Since Rob was the only one that didn't enjoy it, what did we get from?
It was a good thing that I was able to listen to the morning message today about, I get to come to Morning Ascent versus I have to.
You don't have to.
That was a great message. It was a good tie-in from yesterday and today. So it's true. We think about what we are doing in this industry. We have an industry that does not have a ceiling. And we get to work in this industry and have the opportunity to produce incredible memories, from learning opportunities, incomes, to better our lives. And so we get to be able to do that. It's a great message.
Yeah, a nice mind shift. I like that. Rick?
I had a ton. Rick Davison.
Let's just do one.
Just one?
Yeah.
Holden Expressive to just one. There's so many. I mean, Rick Davis, the value of precise presentation. And I took 4 pages on George's message, but really mindset, and I am a champion. We have to remember that. In our own right, we are all that. I mean, we're here, we're doing what we're doing. So, man, I'll tell you, it was just powerful for me. But I'm just really like the whole message that we had from beginning to the end, and just to end it on such a powerful note was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else?
So on Rick's, I liked, how he shared his experience on hiking Mount Kilimanjaro, but selecting your team, make sure you have the right team, and his story of getting almost to the top, but not being able to finish because someone wasn't prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So, and for me, if someone, I don't have a team per se, but your title people, your lenders, they're all part of your team, so make sure you have the right team.
Yeah, or the people you associate with. If you're associating with the wrong people that aren't going to get you there, you got to drop them off at the wayside.
Right. So that's the biggest takeaway for me, was that the conversations that you have to be able to have.
Yes.
People that you care about, you love, but they're dragging you down. You're not going to get to your next level all the time with the same people that got you to where you're at now.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to have those conversations. So as we build a team, I think that's going to be a really big one.
Yeah, he called them fierce conversations.
Fierce conversations. Yeah. Well, and sometimes it's best for them too. A lot of times we think
usually is, I bet.
A lot of times we just think that, I don't want to offend them. I don't want to get them off the side. They're upset at that moment, but it might be the best thing for them. So, yeah.
I wish April were here. If she comes, maybe she could help me remember what I like. But I like George's comments best. you know, because it's all, to me, that's like all to the point of, you know, I'm not going to just try to make calls today. I'm doing it and making the decision. But there's something else you said, George, and I'm going to have to try to remember if I remember if April gets here. Because we talked about 2 or 3 things from yesterday, but it's always inspiring. And,
Well, bridging the gap between your mindset and your
Skill set.
That's a powerful one.
yeah.
Yeah, Mike, did you have one?
The I get to concept, that's like probably the biggest thing that I took away, same with this morning. But another thing, like she said, setting your intention, you know, instead of just dilly-dallying like, oh, I'll do this week, just know what you're going to do, and whether you feel like it or not, just do it.
Yeah.
And you'll get to where you want to be. So.
Yeah, that's really powerful. In fact, when you talked with Amaria, because I had done that experiment once, and my intention was 100 contacts, and that's exactly what I got, was 100 contacts. And the next day I decided, and it took me all day to do that, the next day I decided my intention was appointments, and I had 2 appointments within 30 minutes. And I look at those 2 days, and the second day was actually more productive for me than the day before, which I felt like I physically worked really hard. So, yeah, like that.
Okay, so I think I'm getting mixed up between the book we're reading and what George said, because what George said kind of reminded me of the 7 habits, because didn't you talk about beginning with the end in mind or something along that path?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I
and
say that a lot
think
too,
that's why I'm getting mixed up, because they're both kind of together. So just having a clear idea of where you're going and what you're going to end up with.
Yeah, you're talking about the destination.
Right, and that's
Yes.
why I'm like, okay, was it in the book I read that, or was it George?
Well,
But they both tied together, and I mean, that was, I think it's just so important knowing what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go. And
so we often, on what Leslie said, so we often talk about being a champion, but George kind of laid out, if you're a champion, what does a champion, how does a champion think, what does a champion do, and how do they act? And that was his number 2 point was they know where they want and where they're going.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they do. And even the professionals can have mental breakdowns. I think that's important to know.
That was the aha, is the greatest tennis player essentially of all time.
oh yeah.
Better player, more skilled, more experience. I didn't tell this part of the story, but Osaka talked about the fact of when she was 7 years old, she sat in Arthur Ashe Stadium and visualized and made a commitment and an intention that she would play Serena Williams in this tournament in this stadium when she was 7.
Wow.
And so there she is on the front, right, in the right there, you know, living out her intention from the standpoint. It was amazing just to watch the disconnect that Serena took in regards to just, you know, because the TV would go away, but it was the first time where I was able to see every facial expression, every huff and puff, you know, every time she would look down at the ground and be disappointed with herself, or in between the breaks when the commercials would go, you know, you saw the whole entire breakdown of her mentally. And between what Osaka was doing and how she was playing to just the control of her mind, it's again, we can go prospect all day long, but if the mind isn't connected to the skill, it's going to be a very big challenge. You're going to be very lucky to have something happen.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen that with top agents, you know, years. You know, they're producing at a high level, and then all of a sudden you can start seeing where they're starting to break down. Even though their business is still going up, you can kind of see habits they're making that are like that. Yeah.
I guess I'm just echoing to what Georgia is saying. I would challenge and say she's obviously not the better player, because how many times are you faced with the skill set and you have the ability to take the listing or do what you're supposed to be doing, right? And you probably are a lot more talented than that other agent. But then the mindset and connecting that mindset to the skill set and bridging that gap, if that other person does it, it just proves to you that that other person is better at what they're doing than you are. And I loved what Rick said, and I went through some of it and actually just kind of wrote out what I was thinking in my head when he said some of the stuff he did and went through the, you know, the preparation steps. And I related some of the things he said. So like when he was talking to his hike, he said weather forecasts, and I put, what obstacles are you gonna face, right? He said the gear, knowing, having the gear. Do you actually know your scripts? He put logistics. He said, do you know your market? Right? And so I just went through myself and wrote it and related it to the real estate side of things. And I think it's good for us to understand that if we're not prepared, if we're not in the right mindset, bridging the gap between that, then we're going to obviously struggle with that. And then I loved the quote that George gave. I can't remember who it's by, but he says that it's not that you can't have what you want, it's that you won't decide on what you want.
Yeah, I wrote that one down too. I like that one a lot.
Earl Langell.
Cool.
Jason, I think back to the Serena thing. I think honestly, in my mind, this was probably one of the most important things that could happen to her, to help her take her to a level she's never been to. Because without experiencing such a defeat, would she ever know this part or this position, ever. That will take her much higher than she could have gone ever before.
Yeah, there's no doubt she'll win.
Yeah, without
There's no question.
Yep.
She's gone to the finals, here a year out of having a baby, and she's gone to the Wimbledon final. She went to the U.S. Open final. I mean, it's just a matter of time and getting her back to where she needs to be mentally. And I actually would also say from a being in shape, like legitimately being able to withstand all the blows. And I always say the quickest way to improve your mindset is to improve your skill set, right? You good when you guys raise your hands back here?
Yeah, I mean, this is a reminder to me that there's nothing static, too, right? I mean, that's great, and I agree that for past accomplishments, it's not a downplay at all, but what we did in the past doesn't matter for the present.
Yeah.
So that Michael often talk about quit living off your past experiences or your past wins, right?
Yeah.
I remember Mike
living the glory days.
I remember the glory days when Mike would walk into someone's office and take all of their trophies, all of their awards, and literally put them in a garbage can. I mean, just because that's all about the past. Now, what are you going to do? What are you going to do now?
Yeah.
I was listening to Jim Rohn today. He said, when are you supposed to start? And he was talking about starting anything. And he said, as soon as you have completed the project you're currently at, meaning he gave examples like building a hotel or reading a book, and he just talked about the fact of the moment you are finished is the moment you start. He talked about finishing the year. When you start the new year, once you finish the last year. I've really changed my tune. I don't like doing business plans before the end of the year. I think it is it weakens the present moment.
Interesting.
I will never do a business plan again for the company for anything until first 2 weeks of January. I changed that 2 or 3 years ago.
Did you remember? Did April remember?
Don't just do what you feel like. Do it, do what you're supposed to do, not just. I mean, like if you don't feel like doing it, still do it.
Yeah.
That was the one I liked.
Yeah. Usually, you're not going to feel like doing the things that you need to do.
Yeah, do it even if you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Which, and not to reiterate too hard, but what you need to do to get what you want, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not what George needs me to do or what my mom needs me to do, or right? Like for the most part, we set our intentions based off what we want, and so then it's what we need to do, but it circles back to what we want to. That's our story, right?
Yeah.
And that was George mentioned this morning. We don't need to CrossFit because someone else wants us to. It's because we want what we want.
Yeah. I always, I think it's funny because we'll go on accountability, and one of the things that I've noticed is the minute you go off your accountability, everything you did through that accountability just like goes out the window for like a month. You just go totally way off track because it's like, I'm on accountability to do the things that I want to do that are going to get me to where I want to be, and as soon as accountability is off, it's like, oh God, I don't have to do that anymore. And it's like, no, you keep doing what you want to do because you're not quite where you want to be. So, yeah, I like that. Anything else from Summit?
I like you came back to the champion. We talked a lot about that in the past, but my big comments were champions really master their story. the focus is my reality, and we live in a world of abundance. And I just always have to remember that. And I think whatever we focus on truly does grow. So we have to focus on the right things.
Yeah, I like that. April?
So I loved hearing about Wimbledon, but a huge part
Better
of
about
what
hearing about the U.S. Open.
I mean the U.S. Open, but a huge part of the reason why I had so much fun listening to that is I love the idea of like just this big thinking. Like you were on the front row, like keep doing really big things and share it with us. I think we all, when we do big things, should share it with each other because it's inspiring and exciting. So
it was just because of the time, but it was pretty interesting to watch Mackenzie. We were walking up through the crowd, and I hit StubHub, and I just been watching these tickets that were on the front row, and they started at like $1,500, then $1,200, then $1,100, then $900, then $800, and by the time it was said and done, I mean, I know it's not like necessarily cheap, but we got them for like $700.
Wow.
But, no, each. But to sit on the front row of the U.S. Open for $700.
That's crazy.
Each, and I still remember that. I didn't say this because he wasn't there, and I didn't want. But Dylan, of course, my son-in-law, I hit. And I showed it to Kenzie, and we are in this huge crowd. I mean, there are hundreds of people. You're walking up the huge corridor. You know, the annoying people that then are walking the opposite direction. I showed Kenzie. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you bought them?" I said, "Yeah, I bought them." And I said, "Dylan, see ya." And he's all, "What?" I go, "Yeah, Kenzie and I are going to be on the front row, but enjoy your seats." So he was. They were up like 50 rows, but 40 rows above us or more. And then we were all texting, all back and forth, and then Isaac, my son, says, "Hey, I want to sit down there," and we went dark. And then after it was done, we started texting again back to him, and Dylan was laughing. He goes, "I knew Isaac was never going to sit down there." So, Kenzie had played tennis for all 4 years. I mean, it was when you talk about big things. She always says, "This is legit." Like awesome. She goes, "I can't even tell my friends I'm here. Like they won't believe that I'm here." It was cool. And she got all choked up and teary and hugged me. It's one of those moments where you're like, "Wow, that was cool." It was cool.
It's worth it. Wow.
Yeah.
If I knew what I was going to get from having her down there, that would have been
Yeah,
the cool dad comments and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And your dad's so cool. I need that from all the 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, Mr. Morris, you're up.
Anything else? Jay, first summit back for a while. Any thoughts on the summit? Well, we've just been going around, just anybody's feedback. Kelby, your first summit.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Oh,
Bob, you were there. I think that's everybody else. Did we miss anybody? John, did you say anything about it? Did you say anything? Yeah. We'll just finish with that. I don't have.
Well, he was going to say something.
Yeah, well, one thing I really loved was it was Rick when he was talking about preparing for heading up the mountain and everything like that. Like once you get there, get to the city, they don't have vendors there. And so pretty much you got to make sure you have all your pretty much ducks in a row to be able to start trekking up. And with me being a new agent, I really felt connected to that because, I got to make sure I have all my ducks in a row and everything, or else I'm going to just keep falling on my face. But even when I fall on my face, that's what helped me grow, becoming a better agent.
That's cool.
So I got, same with all you guys, all those ones you talk about, I love those. The one I went to home and talked to my wife about was the branding one, how to brand yourself. She's home with the kids, so she does a lot of the online stuff. It represents this online, she's doing really well. And I went home and just told her everything about it. She just sat there staring at me going, "I wish I would have gone." I'm like, "I tried to get you to go. I even volunteered to switch places." But since I'm doing it full time, she's like, "No, you go, I'll stay at home." But I just sat there with the branding and just talked to her all about it. And I threw in the champion part, threw in all that stuff, and the get to, I did that with her too. And she was just sitting there going, "I want to go to the next one." So I'm trying to get her to go, but there's a lot of takeaways, and I just left feeling really good. And I went from there straight to a door knocking campaign with a lender of mine, and we're branding ourselves in certain neighborhoods, so it was part of that too. So I got to tell him about it. So he was like, "Well, I wish I would have come and seen that too," but I'm like, "You're not invited, so you're stay away." He was pretty jealous about it all too, but It was good.
It is interesting, the branding. I thought it was an interesting statement that Annette made, is branding isn't as much of like, it's basically how you make people feel.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm like, that's a pretty powerful statement.
Yeah.
Of how you make people feel is really your brand.
We just
like how you
happen to be-
feel about a brand.
We
is
happen to
really
be doing
what-
my dad's neighborhood, and all the ones that have been there for my whole life, the lifers. And I was like, you know, did my spill. I was like, I don't want to sell your house because I want you to leave, but I love you, and if you have any friends or family, let me know. And they love that part. So, I hopefully I branded myself right in that neighborhood.
One
was
step
trying to
beyond
use
that, who do you know?
Yeah, I did that too. But it was good. It was fun. Made me think about the whole summit, the whole time out there doing it.
There was a real, I just, you know, I mean, I've only missed one summit in 10 years, so I have a good perspective to them. It was fun at the end. That was a really good feeling. I was thinking about that feeling. I was thinking, you know, at times if you'll go to Tony Robbins, he'll say, and I found myself, it just kind of came out, but it was, if you could stay in this space, what could you accomplish, right? If you could stay in the space of believing, feeling that you're a champion, what could you accomplish in that state, right? How would you prospect? How would you list? How would you present? How would you go about your lead follow-up? How would you get a reduction in price? It would be a different experience if you could stay in that state and move and stay in that state. The whole experiences of our businesses would be very, very different. So it's cool. I see it. You raised your hand, Lindsay. I don't know if any of these guys.
I was going to
can
say,
go.
the last two questions that you asked really hit me. And the first one was, what are you going to take with you? And I think that was powerful to remember. It's who you're becoming. And then the second one was, what legacy will you choose to leave behind? So it really hits back with me, because I always have written down in my journal, I'm a great client for the legacy my two grandfathers have left for our family. And it's just a good reminder of what do I want to leave behind.
Yeah.
How do I want people to remember me? So.
Good. It's great. Yes.
I just reaffirmed that, you know, I just moved over here with your show, yeah. And I've just been flipping, it's been great. But yesterday morning by 11 o'clock, I'd lost 3 gills. 3 gills were supposed to close the next 2 weeks. So it was a little bit frustrating, but, you know, just going to it and remembering, you know, about your mindset, your focus, you know, like you guys joke a lot about agents and how they have to time keep their emotions in check and whatnot. And it was just great to be able to, you know, of course, I don't want to go home and tell my wife about 3 gills that disappeared, but, you know, we're just next. You know,
Sure.
Next.
Yeah.
And also, again,
Yeah. So that goes that power of intention. It'll work out.
I just need buyer's agents that can control the emotions of their buyers.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
A couple things, you know, when Rick said that his goal is not to like summit, which you would think if you're going on a mountain trip, right? Be like, hey, my goal is to get to the top. He's like, my goal is to get back safely. And I just kind of was like, all right, think longer than what is just in front of you. Kind of hopefully one day. And then I had really been struggling with like my story, and so you mentioned, you know, how the gap between the mindset and skill set is critical.
Yeah, that bridge is really creating that bridge between the two. It's interesting on that, having, you know, climbed with him and that Mount Baker. I was joking about the fact of that whole thing with him, but the whole entire, and the guy who led him in Kilimanjaro and many of the other climbs he's done, and also who led out the expedition, I guess you'd say, or the climb up in the northwest there in the Cascades with us. That the guy, well, he summited Everest for the 3rd time this year, and man, I'm not exaggerating. This guy has like this skinny frame, and then just it is unbelievable the size of this guy's thighs. I mean, you walk behind, and you're like, what is wrong with this picture? And he is just like this, and he's just slow. We talk about he just slow and steady, man. He is just crazy. But the whole thing, all that he will talk about is if we summit, that's great. But the only thing that is not okay is that we return safely. And so it's some of the most intense moments of my life have been with that guy on, you know, these glaciers, and not only Rick, but also this guy who's, you know, just an icon in the industry with mountain ascents and it's interesting, all the preparation, all these different analogies to business. They are so relatable to everything that we do every day. It's cool. So, it's cool. Okay, any other thoughts?
Well, just adding, I mean, when you read about Everest, most of the lives that are lost are on the way down.
Yes.
And that's the reason why is because everyone's so focused on getting to the top. They're not thinking about the actual goal. Yeah, that is, get to the top, that is a great goal. But getting home safely to share the experience.
Well, just the whole thing of you've read the books, you're pretty adamant about, or diligent reading those books. But even just the movie Everest was all about what really created the problems was going to the top.
Right.
So, good. John, did you say anything?
I wasn't
You
there.
rarely are without words, but
I wasn't there.
well, all right. That's why you're not saying anything.
I
That's
really wanted. Yeah, I wasn't there.
Like I said earlier, I've seen that.
It's all right. You were chasing one deal where we were teaching you how to do 50 deals. It's good. That's what I would say to people. Boom. That's what I always like to say to an agent. It's so cool. They're like, I listen to one. I'm like, it's all right. We were teaching you how to do 50. You were chasing one. So, all right. Any thoughts, comments? All right.
We are champions.
You are champions. Yeah. Didn't you love that video though?
Oh.
That guy, I leaned over to Jennifer and I said, I would love to just hire him to just come and do a summit and do that and find him and fly him out here to just do that whole thing. I mean, he read it, at first he was reading it, but you could tell, man, once he got into it, it was like, holy cow. I love that video. I mean, I've shown it before in a summit, but probably 5, 6, 7 years ago.
A long time. And I bet you those kids, what were they, high schoolers?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were high school.
I mean, my gosh, I mean, I just love that whole thing. I mean,
Little caption on the end that said they went on to crush their opponents or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you for being
Awesome.
Pardon?
Fun. Do it.
Yeah, it would be fun. Track him down, wouldn't it? Yeah.
All right, closing affirmations. I am because I know I'm anonymous. I'm kind to the people. I know what's important to me. I remember people's names. I make a plan to follow. I'm passionate about real estate. I know petition is my greatest tool. I like asking questions and listening. I enjoy reading and improve my sales skills. My thoughts lead my emotions back to the soul. I focus on my unity. My concentration is powerful. I improve my skills daily. I'm happy. I love the prospect that feeds my business. I see my future is awesome. I love my life. I am grateful and thankful. I control my thinking. I believe in me. I feel outstanding. I use my wisdom and authenticity. I get things done. I provide excellent customer service. I drink water daily. I connect with people. People love me. I love others. I intentionally establish my daily schedule. I prospect daily. I set appointments daily. I'm a master swimmer. I achieve my goals. I'm a real estate rock star. I'm passionate about my life. I live every day with purpose. I'm confident in my sales skills. I know my destiny. I'm healthy and strong. I'm powerful. I'm unstoppable. I can be hard, kind, prosperous, proud. I'm all that. Yes! Morning. Good morning.
They weren't that expensive. They were like $100 tickets, and it was too late. It was too late.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but I remember I'm like, yeah, we're going. They're like,